I'm DJ Foster here at Grand Valley State football practice on Monday, August 15th, as the Laker football team begins their first full week of practice. In today's edition of Camp Central, we will talk to Laker head football coach Matt Mitchell, defensive end Danny Rashard, and defensive line coach Matt Yoches. Mitch, day 5, kind of talk about what you learned over the weekend, how everything's progressed so far.
Going good. Guys are working hard. We feel good about our skill guys. I mean, kind of what we thought going into the season. Our running backs have really performed well, and our wideouts are doing good. And you know, Heath is having a good camp up to this point. So, still got some work offensively on the offensive line to sort that out. And defensively, just trying to figure out what our best 11 are, putting some different people in some different situations. But the kids are working hard.
Offensive line-wise, you have 3 returnees. Obviously, lose Matt Armstrong. Who's really impressed you thus far through the first 5 days?
You know, we have real solid play out of Jim Hardy and Tim Lolito and Andrew Biedenbender, and those are the guys that we knew coming into camp had played before, and we knew were going to be good. Our 2 seniors that have really stepped up and done a good job, Alex Hay and Ian Evans, have been solid, and then 2 guys, one's a freshman actually in eligibility, another one's a sophomore. Eric LeBoon and Tyler Moran have been well too. So out of those 4 guys, and then Dominic Kandari's been doing good, and Austin Green, that kind of gives us, Peyton McCallan probably gives us somewhere around there our top 10. Mark Morrison's another senior, maybe 11, so we've been rotating those guys. But we got the three spots are locked down. I'm thinking looking at 4 or 5 guys maybe for those other 2 spots.
What about linebacker? I know that was an area of concern going into the year depth-wise. Who's really impressed you thus far?
Zach Galloway's done great. He had a great spring. He's really came in and played well during camp, so I like where he's at. Brad Howard has taken a really good role as a senior leadership. Luther Ware's been doing some stuff too, so I'd say the combination of those 3 guys maybe separate themselves a little bit. We have a transfer, Sam Power, that came in that's done a nice job. We got to see how he's going to fit into our system, and then Jordan Kaufman and Adam Koenig have flashes of being good, but I think they know based on their position meetings they got to be more sound in what they're doing too.
Heath is obviously kind of learning as he goes, but how is he turning into as a leader so far this early on?
The kids respect him a ton because of his knowledge of experience in our scheme. He knows exactly what's going on. He's the leader of our offense because he knows the most. He's been in our system now for 3 years, and I think that's something we knew heading in, that the 60-some snaps he played last year were one thing, but all the meetings he's been in and what he's done throughout the course of the last 2 years. So part of the reason he's a leader is because he knows the most on the field of anybody, really. And so a lot of guys look to him for the answers, and that's put him in that leadership role, and he's handled it great. He's a very competitive kid, so when he's out here, he wants to win, and that makes our team better because he's trying to fuel the offense, and if the defense isn't ready to go, then we'll take advantage, and so we have good practices because of his leadership.
Talk a bit about the corners of Kenny Veal coming in. How's he progressed?
Kenny's done great. You know, he had to sit out last year, but he came back and did a great spring, and that's really carried over there. So he's probably our biggest playmaker at corner. We've been preaching on him a little bit more consistency at times. He's got to become a guy that's an every snap player. Mike Hatcher has really had a great camp, and he's done really well, and as Reggie Williams. But Mike Hatcher is really, really consistent. Every snap you know where Mike's going to be. So those 3 guys, and 2 younger guys that have been coming along, I like. They still got some work to do. Suave Lavalis and Jones is coming along too, so both those guys are kind of figuring out where they fit into the system.
How's Danny Rashard looked?
Well, we've been really, really judicious with him. He's practiced, a couple times. He came out here yesterday. We did some pass rush stuff. We got him down playing inside, which isn't as much bending and leaning and doing some of that stuff. So we're kind of taking some baby steps in this process. Most of the time his inside work is straight ahead. It's linear on that knee. And as he gets more and more comfortable out here, then we'll maybe shift him out to an end. But he's going to play inside and outside for us. But I think he looked good yesterday. He had a couple sacks and did a nice job in a couple of our team pass periods. So just getting him back up to the flow of things, start him inside, move him outside, and realize, we're still 2 weeks from Thursday from the game. That's a short amount of time for our team, but for Danny, that's plenty of time to get him ready.
Danny, how's your knee feeling? How have you progressed so far early on in training camp?
I've had 2 practices so far. My knees felt great. I haven't had any problems thus far. I feel like I'm moving around really well. So as of now, I think I'm doing really good. The knee's holding up really good.
How is it coming back from a knee injury like that, your second one? How apprehensive are you when you're running around? I'm
extremely cautious this time around. I got a couple rules that I'm not doing, especially during camp. 1, no spins. I'm really not going to put myself into any situation where I'm going to really be putting a lot of pressure on my knee. If I find myself in a bad situation, that's when I tell Tim Lolito or whoever I'm going up against just to stop. We're all looking out for each other this camp. We're making sure that everyone's on board this season.
What about how long? 2 weeks from the opener. Mitch has you on a limited practice schedule. How does that ease your mind?
It just makes me feel really confident that I'm going to be out there, and I'm really happy. Like I don't have to grind myself into the ground during camp. I know that I'm going to be out there, and you know, on the days when I'm not practicing much as today, that I'm doing my conditioning, like in the pool or in other places.
Talk a little bit about the defensive line in general, about what you're doing this camp to just you guys got a lot of guys back that didn't play last year, a lot of returnees from last year. About how you're kind of mentoring those guys.
A lot of the guys really don't even need much mentoring. Our D-line is stacked this year. We got 6 starting D linemen on our team this year. Where only 4 are going to play. So, for most of the guys, I'm just trying to tell them what I've learned best from when I've been playing, and that's fly around.
Danny, you're obviously, when healthy, an All-American caliber player. What do you hope to bring to the defense this year?
Just consistency, and shutting down the run. That's kind of what we had a problem with last year. That's what I want to bring on board. Me and Drake kind of have the same goal.
We're here with GVSU defensive line coach Matt Yoches. Coach, what have been your early impressions on the defense so far?
We got a lot of ability, a lot of talent. We're trying to put it together, get 4 guys to play together on the defensive line well. Individually, they're all very talented. And even as a defense, we got 11 guys. We got 18 guys that can go out there and individually do things well. If we can get 11 guys on the same page doing the same thing, going for one goal, we're going to be very good this year.
You returned Danny Rashard, obviously a preseason All-American last year, and going into this year, what does that help? How does that help your defense?
Biggest thing is just the experience. Last year we were both a little young and inexperienced. Some of our older guys were inexperienced. Some of our younger guys were just young and inexperienced. So that didn't help. Bringing Danny back for another year gives us some more experience. He's always going to have a high motor and run around playing great football for us.
Along with Danny, who else are you kind of looking to as some of the veterans to lead this defense?
Well, last year, Ryan Pettis stepped up, had a great season from beginning to end. Brandon Allen turned it on early, got injured halfway through the season, as well as Ricky Thomas is going to be a returning junior for us. He played throughout this season, had a couple injuries in the middle, but provided us with a good amount of experience coming into this year, coming off a year that he wasn't too experienced. First year starting last year, so this will be his second year out there. As well as we bring back Andre Thomas, who played 2008, 2009, missed last year. So we got a lot more experience coming back to complement Danny as well.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.